What's good, everybody, and welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by the verified one, Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host.
Hey, you know what? It's election day, Tim.
It is. I would have never known.
For everybody listening on podcast services around the globe, I am not only wearing my I voted election sticker, but I'm also wearing my little Uncle Sam fascinator. It's a mini red, white, and blue hat that is technically my cat's, but you know, he said that I could borrow it.
Did he? He was like, it looks perfect on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah?
I see what you did
Oh,
there.
I did. It was a cat pun. Yeah.
If you guys are joining us live Monday through Friday at around 12 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, you have one job: to help keep us honest and hopefully also enjoy yourself by going to kindoffunny.com/you'rewrong to let us know what we screwed up as we screwed it up. Of course, you can always enjoy the show on podcast services, as I mentioned, or at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. This, again, is Kind of Funny Games Daily, your source for nerdy video game news in the morning. As you guys know, Greg is not here because he is down in Los Angeles streaming for Overkill's The Walking Dead, which I believe starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time.
2 p.m. on twitch.tv/Starbreeze. They're doing a whole bunch of interviews with Walking Dead people. There's going to be some gameplay and physical challenges. Greg was telling me that the set looks amazing. So check it out. 2 p.m. after this.
I'm sure he's going to be posting photos on his Instagram if you guys want to get a sneak peek. Are you guys going to be hosting that stream?
I imagine we are. But that's a Joey question.
Joey can hopefully at some point come in during the show and let us know some information. Also, as a reminder, we have community streams happening all week long for Extra Life to support the children's... Bless you.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
The Children's Miracle Network hospitals. If you guys missed our amazing shenanigans that happened this past weekend, we've now raised over $65,000, I believe, for the kids, for the big, beautiful kids.
Sweet 65.
If you guys want to get involved or help out some of our awesome community members that are still streaming for the cause, that's kindoffunny.com/extralife. Again, that's going on all week long.
It's true.
It's true. And today's show brought to you by Quip and Brooklinen, but we'll tell you more about that later. For now, let's get into what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
How many news stories we got today, Andrea?
One item on the Roper Report.
What?
Wait.
Listen, okay, here's
a baker's dozen, I guess.
here's the deal, Kevin and Tim. On a slow news day, Greg, when he's here, will troll around and
stuff it up
and find some things that I would not normally deem newsworthy to cover. Like maybe a single skin release in a game or a new patch for something. And so, because of that, there's only one item. I could have filled in some more, but, you know, I was busy heckling Nick on the morning show.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the first story,
Yes.
and then we'll take a look over at Reset Era, see if anything's popping off.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. What's the first story, Andrea?
Tim, the first story is that Nintendo is hiring for a Zelda-related project.
Hell yeah, they are.
So this write-up comes from Nick Santangelo. I don't know if I said your name right, Nick. I apologize.
It's a fun one to say.
Over at IGN. Nick writes, Nintendo appears to be starting work on a new Legend of Zelda project according to a pair of job listings. First spotted by Reset Era user Guru. The listings are for a 3D CG designer and a level designer. Neither reveals much about what sort of Zelda project the developers would be working on at Nintendo, but do have callouts to a few Legend of Zelda franchise staples. Unsurprisingly, Nintendo wants the designer to have experience working on action games and be able to work on designing terrain like fields and dungeons. Similarly, the level designer needs to have worked on planning video game dungeons, fields, and enemies. Interestingly, Nintendo also wants the designer to be capable of working on in-game events. The listing doesn't specify what's meant by this, so it's unknown if Nintendo is referring to traditional story events or something more familiar from multiplayer-focused games. Also unclear is whether or not the two developers would be working on a new unannounced Zelda game for Switch, 3DS, or mobile, or DLC for 2017's Breath of the Wild. Nintendo president Shantaro Furukawa last month said he wants to see more DLC for the company's existing major titles. And Nintendo is also reportedly working on a Zelda game for mobile platforms, which of course, you know, they announced last year. So I think the idea of Nintendo working on more Zelda unsurprising. I think it's kind of fun though to speculate about what this could be. The idea of getting another full installment in the Legend of Zelda franchise like Breath of the Wild is clearly many years away at this point. But I could be down for some more Breath of the Wild.
You know, there's a lot of options here, starting with the mobile game. So it was never officially announced that they're making a Zelda mobile game. Last year, Wall Street Journal claims that Zelda would follow in the footsteps of Animal Crossing and all of that. So it hasn't been officially announced in the way that Mario Kart World Tour or whatever it's called has been announced as the next mobile game. Surprisingly, we haven't heard about that yet, by the way. We were supposed to hear about it by the end of this year. So
I wonder if that has anything to do with how Super Mario Run performed.
I doubt it. I mean, it was announced way after that. It was announced even after like Fire Emblem Heroes was a success and all that.
Yeah,
know?
Fire Emblem Heroes, that game's just crushing
the
it.
gift that keeps on giving for Nintendo and for the people that are really into it.
As my dear friend Alexa Ray calls it, the horny casino.
The horny casino. That is definitely something. I don't think it'd be for the mobile game. That's just my gut. It could be, and especially with their talking about in-game events and stuff, that does sound very mobile-ish. I don't know what a mobile Zelda game would look like, though. I feel like they would maybe go back to some really old school, like almost Zelda Maker type thing experience. I don't know. But moving over to 3DS, if it was a 3DS game, it would be Link's Awakening Remake. I don't think we can rule that out. The 3DS, until we see Nintendo come out with a version of the Switch that can sell to the audience that the 2DS is selling to, I don't think they're going to stop making 3DS games. And I don't think there's going to be many of them, but I would not be surprised to see a lot more kind of ports, remakes, like Luigi's Mansion style situations. And Link's Awakening, I can see making a lot of sense there. There's such a big audience of 3DS owners, and that'd be an easy way to make some extra cash.
I feel like the 3DS, though, is potentially close to being on its way out, though. Maybe ready to sunset 3DS.
And that's what I'm saying is until we see a purely portable Switch that sells for less than the Switch is selling, I don't think the 3DS has been fully sunsetted.
I think we might get that sooner than you think.
No, I think we're getting it soon.
Yeah. My What's Good Games co-host, Brittany Brombacher, is hoping against hope, fingers and toes crossed, that someday Nintendo is going to announce an Ocarina of Time remake for the for Switch. You think that that's something that could be related to this?
No, I don't. I don't think that'll ever happen. They did that on the 3DS, so I think that's the closest we're ever going to get to.
Right? Maybe just porting it. The 3DS version. Would that even make sense?
I don't think so. I have a feeling that Ocarina of Time will never see a release on Switch that isn't just either Virtual Console or being a part of a collection or something like that. I don't think it's going to be enhanced for the Switch. Looking at Breath of the Wild, I don't think it's going to be DLC for Breath of the Wild. I think they're done with that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Majora's Mask-esque release, and I don't think we need to be that far off from that happening if that were to be the case. I don't think we get it next year, but maybe the year after that. I don't think that's too crazy to.
Why don't you think Breath of the Wild DLC is on the table if the president is calling for DLC in their existing titles?
Because I think that makes more sense for things like Mario Kart, or specifically Mario Odyssey and Smash Brothers when it comes out. Breath of the Wild, it had its DLC, it had its moment, and I feel like the DLC didn't light the world on fire in the same way that Mario Kart's did.
But I feel like there's so much potential there for them to maybe add in dungeons, something that, they only kind of scratched the surface of in Breath of the Wild that a lot of longtime Zelda fans thought was really missing from the core gameplay of that franchise, particularly in Breath of the Wild. Like if they added something into, because that world is gigantic. There's certainly room for them to add within that ecosystem.
And that's why I think a Majora's Mask-esque release would make the most sense, where yes, have dungeons, have more of a traditional Zelda experience in the Breath of the Wild framework, using the Breath of the Wild assets. That could make a lot of sense. And you look at Mario Odyssey, when you go back to the Wii with Mario Galaxy 2, nobody saw Galaxy 2 coming. Because before that, the last 3D Mario game was Mario Sunshine. And before that was Mario 64. We were looking at 6-year gaps between 3D Mario releases, and for them to put out Galaxy and then put out Galaxy 2 that was essentially Nintendo's answer to DLC during that time, and for it to sell as well as it did, I think Nintendo is smart enough to know that they could totally put out an Odyssey 2. They could totally put out a Majora's Mask type game for Breath of the Wild, and it will sell very well. And that could potentially have a better framework for DLC to be added that is a bit more substantial than what we saw with Breath of the Wild. What I think this most likely is actually is nothing that we're talking about. I think it's a more traditional 2D Zelda game. I think it's going to be something to replace the 3DS's lineage of Zelda titles. When you look at A Link Between Worlds and things like that, we're at a weird place with the Switch where for the first time ever, we're towards the end of the 3DS's life enough that like no game of consequence is going to come out on it. It'll just be, I think, remakes and ports. So it's our first time where Nintendo's focusing solely on one library to focus on. No longer do they need to make the portable game and the console game. It's just the Switch game. So because of that, there's a lot of franchises that have been splintered. When you look at Mario, there's the 2D Mario games, 3D Mario games, and the 3D World type games. When you look at Zelda, there's the more traditional top-down, and then there's the big 3D ones. And I think that they'd be crazy to stop making that and just have one, right? Like there should be both, and they should branch out. And that's what I think we're going to get from this.
Interesting. I don't necessarily agree that they need to stop making both, but I like kind of going down the hypothetical lane, if you will.
Oh, I'll join you.
And looking at what would a Zelda game, an open world Zelda game on Nintendo Switch be like with multiplayer involved? Because I think that obviously there's a lot to be read between the lines about this job listing about online events. But I think about games, even like what we've seen in the Fallout 76 beta, with these kind of public events that, you know, people that are in the open world together can kind of walk up and participate in, what that would look like, or what even like a Zelda,
I can tell you what it would
like
look
a Zelda type MMO would be like.
It would be amazing, because what it is, it would be what I'm talking about here of like there's the 2D Zeldas and then the 3D Zeldas. We've seen that on 2D Zeldas. Four Sword Adventures is one of my favorite games of all time. It was super complicated back when it first launched with the remake of Link to the Past on Game Boy Advance, because everybody needed a Game Boy Advance, everybody needed a copy of the game, you needed the link cables, you needed all of that, and link cables weren't that big of a thing during the GBA era in the same way they were for Pokemon on the Game Boy era. So it was complicated to get all that stuff together. When they released the game on the GameCube, it was still complicated, but it was a lot easier to get friends together and play together on one screen. And it was a blast. The puzzles, the gameplay, everything about it made so much sense of working together as a team to do Zelda-style puzzles. Years later, I guess 2 years ago now, we saw Triforce Heroes on the 3DS, which was kind of a modern take on that, with what 3DS Zeldas look like. And it was solid, but I do feel like that was kind of a placeholder game where they were just like, look, we need stopgap game is what I meant to say. We know we're gearing up to Switch. We need to be putting stuff on the Wii U and on the 3DS just to get through that horrible 2015 Nintendo year. And that was their answer to that, of just like, oh, at least you have this. And on Wii U, you have Mario Power Tennis or whatever, Ultra Smash, that was horrible. So I feel like taking that idea, putting it into Breath of the Wild, and making shrines that are designed around 2, 3, 4 players working together to do could be super, super amazing and super awesome. And if there's anyone that can pull it off, I think it would be Nintendo.
That would be cool, being able to do shrines with your friends. That might
Shrines
that might actually get me to punch in some people's friend codes, build up my friends list. I've been dragging my feet on that.
Well, that's the thing too. When you look at the president's comments that he made during the financial report and all that, it's like in the same breath of talking about wanting to provide more DLC for the existing titles, he was also talking about wanting to support online experiences and creating online experiences that only Nintendo can. So combining all that together, and I do think that we're starting to pretty clearly see the foundation of the vision for Wave 2 of Switch. Again, I don't think that Wave 2 of Switch can come until we get more Switches out into the wild.
Well,
and we're working on it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I kind of see what you're saying there. I mean, but are over, the 20 million mark, which is pretty great. It would be really fascinating to know how close Nintendo is to Xbox One's heels. Because Xbox hasn't released their numbers, but I have a feeling that if Nintendo can have a massive holiday, which they're setting themselves up to do with Pokemon and Smash, like how close that will bring the gap between where Xbox and Nintendo are.
Nintendo, and please let me know when you're wrong if I'm getting any of this wrong, but they sold, I think it was 13 million the first year that it existed. It outdid the Wii U in its entire life cycle. But then they forecasted 20 million this fiscal year. So we have until March for Nintendo to be able to hit that. So while the Switch is selling astronomically well, it's still not on pace, quote unquote, to hit that 20 million forecast. And that's where the holiday is going to be the big question mark of, can they really bump up that high? Because when you look at the first year,
I thought they were over that number.
No, they're nowhere close. Because they're 23 total, right?
Oh, you're talking about the additional 20 million.
That they wanted 20 million this fiscal year.
Yes, no, I'm with you there. When they announced that number way back when, I was like, that's ridiculous.
They're gonna hit it. I firmly believe they're gonna hit it
eventually, for sure.
By March, this fiscal year.
You think so?
I think they're going to. And I think that we're seeing very interesting, strategic, tactful moves made by them in terms of the release schedule when you look at their first year compared to this year. And ending this year with 2 Pokemon games that are geared towards the most people possible of just hey, this is for kids. And then you have something that's Smash Bros. That's, hey, it's for the hardcore and everyone else. I really think that when you add the bundles up, you add all that stuff, we know that we're getting Pokemon next year. And like we talked about yesterday, 2019 is kind of stacked for Nintendo, where it's going back to its first year of every month has something that they're pushing. That, I think, is going to lead real nice, and everything's going to start to add up. The question is, can they supply enough product of hardware during this holiday season to be able to stand there?
So there's an interesting article over on The Verge. It says Nintendo needs a heck of a holiday season to meet Switch sales goals. This came out just a week ago or 2 weeks ago from Sam Byford over there. And it says the home hybrid portable console has been a big success, but Nintendo does have an uphill climb if it's going to meet its own optimistic sales target of 20 million for the year ending March 31st. The current holiday quarter will be by far the most important, and last year's Nintendo's only moved 7.23 million units. The company will likely have to double that to meet its goals, given that the quarter following the holidays is traditionally very slow. So that's an interesting way to kind of think about it, that in its amazing holiday last year, kind of fueled by Super Mario Odyssey and its, perfect review scores and Game of the Year contention, they have to double that.
But Andrea, check this out. Let me paint you a picture, okay? We got next week we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. By all accounts, these could end up being some of the most highest-selling Switch games we've seen thus far. Both lifetime and immediately.
That's a throwdown. You think it's going to outdo Mario and Mario Kart?
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. Lifetime, 100%. In the first couple months, we've had this Pokemon conversation before, Andrea. We don't want to go down this path.
No. Listen, I'm with you. Trust me, I've had many a people, mostly capitalist pig, writing into You're Wrong, telling me what the Pokemon sales numbers are. I know. But this is such a non-traditional Pokemon. Based on the people that I've talked to who are diehard Pokemon players, not a single one of them have been like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so amazing. That is the game that is coming next.
Now here's my
challenge. That's the one they're really pumped for.
Here's the real question, though. I agree with you. I'm one of those people as well.
Right.
Are any of those people actually not going to buy the game?
That's a fair point. I don't know.
And that's the realness, man. This is a remake of the original Pokemon games. There's built-in nostalgia, no matter what people say.
They're going to get it no matter what, is what you're saying.
Right?
Okay.
You add on top of that the Pokemon Go audience that has never played a core Pokemon game. This is their entryway. So many people have Switches that have never owned consoles before. And they're like, Pokemon Go was a thing. They're familiar with these characters that they would have never known before, right? Gia is a perfect example of this. Gia went from knowing nothing about Pokemon. Now she can name a fair amount of them because of Pokemon Go. Add all that together, add the sales of what Pokemon normally does. There's going to be a huge hit, right?
Okay.
There's the 2 Pokemon games, and there's 2 of them. That's the other thing. People are not only going to buy.
There's always been 2. Well, okay, not always.
But that's my point.
Most of the time.
Not only are people going to buy 1 copy of the game, they're going to buy 2. Even these people that are like, I'm not excited. They're going to.
Okay, maybe I'll do a poll just to see. Not that I don't believe you, because like the hype is contagious. But I would be interested to know who's going to buy both of these games. One of these games, both of these games, or none of these games. Yep. I'll do a poll. We'll see.
Statistically, the Pokemon games have shown that there is a big part of the pie graph of people that buy both. So.
Well, I mean, that's what helps drive those numbers.
Absolutely.
All right.
So then, moving on from there, we have Smash Brothers. And on top of Smash Brothers, we have this DLC plan that people are very excited for. So
are they though? I feel like there's a lot of people talking crap about the DLC plans
for Smash Bros.
Maybe I've just been only seeing everybody hating on the Piranha plant.
The free DLC? What?
Listen, it's the internet, Tim. People are mad about everything.
The Smash DLC plan is awesome. I can't even understand hating on that. But
me neither.
That's
I don't
forward.
know much about Smash, but
that's our November. That's our December. On top of all the other games that already exist that the library's been built on now, Fortnite, Mario Kart, all these things are going to sell to families. But then in January, the article that Verge was talking about of the springtime usually being slow, January we get the port of New Super Mario Bros. U, a 2D Mario game. 2D Mario games traditionally the only franchise besides Mario Kart or Pokemon that sells astronomical numbers. Cool. Take all that. That is a perfect leadway.
Okay.
Up into March. I think they're going to do it. I believe.
Well, I guess time will only tell. Well, Tim.
See, we took our one news story and we turned it into a journey.
we vamped on it. If you guys see something that broke during the show, or if there's a big story that we glaringly missed, keyword there being big, please do write it into us at kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. And I will do my best to sneak it into the show. But Tim, it's not time yet to count how many Nintendo Switches have been sold.
It's not.
But it is time to check what's come to the mom and grop shops. Where would I do that?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today. It's Tuesday, so we've got a little list here.
Little list.
Brawlhalla is now on Xbox One and Switch. Carnival Games is on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Daracine is on PSVR. Full Metal Furies is on Switch. Grip is on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 is on Switch. Overkill's The Walking Dead is on PC. Again, don't forget, Greg is streaming today at 2 p.m. Omen of Sorrow is on PS4. Road Redemption is on PS4. Rogue Legacy is on Switch. Star Bear Taxi is on PSVR. Star Bear Taxi.
Star Bear Taxi.
I wonder what that is.
Yep.
Google it.
Can we find out what that is? Siren is on PSVR. The Forest is on PS4. The Shape-Shifting Detective is on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Transpose is on PSVR. And World of Final Fantasy Maxima is on Xbox One and Switch.
Star Bear Taxi. It's a PSVR game.
Oh, it doesn't look great.
Do we think it's bears?
It doesn't look
but
good.
look at how cute the bears
dude,
are.
look at his jacket.
Okay, so it's a short, like, fat little bear. He's got some glasses on that look...
You're like in control of it with, it looks like a remote.
So he's in like a little spaceship like George Jetson.
All right. Star Bear Taxi, ladies and gentlemen.
It looks cute.
But you see how you control it with this little like...
Oh, like a little remote?
Yeah.
Like so you're holding the PlayStation Move controller?
A lot going on. There's a lot of bright lights and colors.
But I bet you in
if you're
VR,
into bright
it'd be
lights
awesome.
and colors, Star Bear Taxi might be the
cute.
game for you.
I bet you it's not awesome in VR.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it a whirl and I'll let you know.
Okay.
New dates. PUBG coming to PlayStation 4 in December. So listen.
What?
I want you to hold your breath because this is not an official new date. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds comes out on PlayStation 4 in December, writes Eurogamer, 1 year after it hit Xbox One as a time console exclusive. Video game analyst Daniel Ahmad took to Reset Era to say the Battle Royale game was coming to Sony's console next month, and Eurogamer understands this to be true. PUBG's arrival on PS4 doesn't come as a huge surprise after it was leaked by the Korean ratings board, and more recently, Sony's server spat out PUBG images as spotted by a user on PSN profiles. So
interesting.
We don't have an official announcement, so this will probably end up in new dates again, but I thought it was interesting to bring up, and we had to talk about this.
In addition to that, the Joker and Harley Quinn are coming to PUBG.
Yes, I have that pulled up here as well. I just didn't put it in there. So let's see here. Our announced the two villains will make a guest appearance as a pair of skins, quote, soon. But we don't have an actual like release date. I think that's good for them though to open the door for more marketing tie-ins and licensed stuff that will help drive skins.
It just reeks of Me Too to me, which is fine. I get everyone needs to do what they're doing, but it's just like, well, Fortnite had Thanos. Cool. We're going to get Harley Quinn and the Joker a year later. Cute.
What do you got against Harley Quinn and the Joker?
Bots.
Thanks, Kev.
Oh, lots, says Kevin. Also, new dates, Hellfront Honeymoon by Sky Goblin is Thunderful's first published game and brings a thrilling mix of twin stick action and fast as hell strategy to the table. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC on November 30th and Switch early 2019.
I just want to say shout out to Sky Goblin. What a cool name.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Doing cool things.
Thunderful must be the publisher?
I like Thunderful too, but not as much as
Sky Goblin's pretty great.
Yeah.
All right. Deals of the day. As always, we're going to give a shout out to friend of the show, Wario64.
Follow him.
On Twitter. He's got all kinds of great games. The one that I saw here, Super Hot, is $14.99 on Steam.
Hot.
You can get the VR version for $17.49, or
VR
you can get the bundle for $25.98.
We did you should check out our PSVR show we did of Super Hot. It was a fun episode.
Pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
You can catch that at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
It's true.
All right, Tim, that leads us to Reader Mail.
Reader Mail is brought to you by Quip. Here's the thing. One of the most important things we do for our health every day is brushing our teeth. Yet most of us do it wrong. Quip is a better electric toothbrush created by dentists and designers, so you're mixing fashion with function. Quip was designed to make brushing your teeth more simple, affordable, and even enjoyable. We're talking about some sensitive sonic vibrations, a built-in 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds to remind you when to switch sides, helping you guide a full and even clean. A multi-use cover mounts to your mirror and unmounts to slide over your bristles for on-the-go brushing. And that's something I need all the time, traveling left and right, you know what I mean?
And you know, I'm going to be honest, Tim, when I first got my Quip and I saw this feature, I thought it wasn't going to work, but I've taken it on many road trips now. Still sticks to the mirror every time.
Your bristles are clean. Brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. 3 out of 4 of us believe bristles that are old, worn out, and ineffective, we're just okay using them. For many years, I've been one of those people. I'm always like, I'll get a new toothbrush. Get a new toothbrush. Eventually, and I rarely do.
Especially going into flu season, Tim, you gotta swap out those bristles.
Don't want that flu. Don't want that flu. That's why I love Quip. Is they cut out all the middlemen. Nick's been using it. Nick loves it. Can't stop talking about it. His teeth have been so clean. It's unbelievable.
Well, at least something about that man is.
Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/games right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/games. Also, Brooklinen sponsored us. Brooklinen are sheets that are named the winner of the best of online bedding category by Good Housekeeping. I can agree. I can attest. I sleep on these things every day, every night. It's the whole thing. I really love sleep, Andrea. If I could sleep forever, so I would, and I would be doing it on Brooklinen sheets. Brooklinen is the fastest growing bedding brand in the world. Over 20,000 5-star reviews. They're based in Brooklyn. And, I'm a big fan of Brooklyn, so that's a cool little fun fact. Founded in early 2014 by husband and wife Vicky and Rich, and their dog, whose name is Dukes.
Oh, that's so cute.
Shout out to Duke, because I'm sure he loves these sheets as well.
I heard Portillo loves these sheets.
Portillo does love the sheets. If you want to see Portillo on the sheets, just look at Jen's Instagram. That's pretty much all that it is. It's just Brooklinen sheets and Portillo. Brooklinen.com is giving an exclusive offer just for our listeners. You can get $20 off and free shipping when you use promo code GAMES at brooklinen.com. I love these sheets. They're the most comfortable sheets I've ever slept on. Brooklinen is so sure that you'll love your new sheets that they offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all of their sheets and comforters. The only way to get $20 off and free shipping is to use promo code GAMES at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Promo code GAMES. Brooklinen. These really are the best sheets ever.
Sheets.
Back to you, Andrea.
Why, thank you so much, Tim. We have some reader mail. As always, we encourage you to be part of the show by writing into kindafunny.com/KFGD with your questions, your bad PSN names for a little bit while longer, your squad ups. And today we do have some reader mail. Noted that a lot of you did have some follow-ups to our conversation yesterday about Diablo, but we're gonna just shelve those for right now until, if we have time at the end, we might be able to get to some, because we do have some other things we would like to chat about as well. So, Tim, first up here. Erroll M says, "Hey, Tim and Andrea, great job on the show yesterday, as always. My question is for Tim. Have you seen the image of the Eevee tamagotchi that has been going around on Japanese image boards and Twitter that has been going around? Do you think it's real despite not yet being confirmed? And if it is, do you think we could see more Pokemon digital pets in the future that will be able to connect to the main games like the pokewalker did with heartgold and soulsilver? And since Bandai Namco, who owns Tamagotchi, also owns Digimon, which started as a Tamagotchi spinoff, do you think we could potentially see some kind of crossover in the future, or that this is more of a one-time collaboration? Thanks for all you do, Errol."
Yes, I think that the Eevee Tamagotchi is real. Yes, I think we'll see more Pokemon doing this in the future. No, I do not think we'll ever see a Digimon Pokemon crossover in that vein. And yes, that makes me sad, because that would be pretty damn interesting.
Why don't you think we'll see it?
I just think that gets a little too messy with the branding.
Too many licenses.
And just Digimon right now, like on the Tamagotchi front, I don't think that they're like popping in the streets. You know what I mean? In the way that that I feel like an Eevee Tamagotchi might.
Well, maybe Pokemon Let's Go will bring it back.
Well, Pokemon's popping. Pokemon's always popping.
Well, I mean, if they bring more Pokemon to Tamagotchi.
The Tamagotchis are popping. It's the Digimon that aren't popping.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Digimon, Digimon started as essentially the 90s boy Tamagotchi. And that it turned into a cartoon franchise, like the card game and all that stuff. And I feel it kind of left the Tamagotchi world behind. Whereas Tamagotchi has had kind of a retro revival in the last couple of years. So I think Pokemon's just kind of fitting in where it can get in, you know what I mean?
I need the pillow from the What's Good game set. I'm going to bring one. I'm going to send one to the office here, and I will have it nearby.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either. No,
but I'm into it, though.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know, then you should maybe watch my show sometime, Tim.
Yeah, pillow me up.
Just calling you out.
I don't watch our shows, you know what I mean?
Kevin, you watch them as they're happening.
I really don't.
He doesn't.
Have you seen Skylines the entire time?
I know. I did an Instagram story of you kicking your feet up during the morning show, and you got all mad at me, but yeah, here you are, just admitting you're not working.
No, I am working. The stream is still going.
That's true.
I don't have to watch this.
Shout out to Kevin, everybody. Keeping everything together. He's the glue that holds us in place. I don't know. Okay. Here we go. Mike Powell says, "I recently got a PS4 to play Red Dead Redemption. As someone who's never owned a PlayStation before, which are the games I should look at getting next? I'm definitely getting Spider-Man, so 5 other games maybe?"
Super easy.
Okay.
God of War.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. Must get.
Uncharted Nathan Drake collection.
Yes. Great call.
Last of Us. Mm-hmm. I want to say Uncharted 4, but with the Nathan Drake collection, I feel, you can wait. You can get that later. You have a lot of game to play there.
Horizon Zero Dawn is like a absolute must play.
So then Horizon. These are all very similar games.
Yeah. I would recommend if you really love narrative-based games. I was really impressed with Detroit Become Human, which came out earlier this year.
I would say that Final Bit is a toss-up between Detroit or Bloodborne, depending on what type of game you like.
Bloodborne, yeah. If you like hating yourself, then Bloodborne is for you. I'm just kidding.
Narrative?
Listen, Bloodborne is a fantastic game. It just requires a specific set of skills and a lot of patience.
It's a solid list.
Yeah. And we didn't even touch on any of the, more traditional JRPGs and things that you could play.
There's a whole bunch.
I mean, you've got the Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Yeah, which I wouldn't say that's top 5.
No.
What about Metal Gear 5?
But you can play that on anything. You don't need to play that on.
Okay, you're right.
You don't need to play that on PlayStation.
I didn't think. I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, so you're just proving yourself right that you're never paying attention.
I'm uploading right now some stuff, but yeah, I guess, Andrea, yeah.
Oh, Kevin.
Trying to think of maybe some smaller games that are PlayStation exclusive that would be really good.
My thing is, it's like, if you're talking top 5, we're not talking small. We're talking big picture here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, if you've never owned a PlayStation before, get on Nathan Drake Collection.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's easy.
Uncharted 4, though, is not in the Nathan Drake Collection.
Not. And that's what I'm saying.
So would you not include Uncharted 4 in that top 5?
See, I heard him say that. He already answered this question where he was like, you could wait for it. So who's not listening?
I mean, I fully admit I tune out sometimes during the show. I'm not as bad as Gary Whitta, okay?
That's true.
But
what I was saying is the reason
I respect him for admitting it.
I wouldn't necessarily include 4 is you're getting a lot of Uncharted in the Nathan Drake Collection. And I feel like I'd rather include something like Horizon too.
Right.
If it is just the top 5, you can wait for Uncharted 4. It's not going anywhere, That's
true. Yeah. I mean, listen, hopefully you'll be able to do more than 5 because at this point, all of these games you'll be able to get, pretty much on the cheap. In fact, somebody actually wrote into Games Daily, Josh, and said, "What's up, Kind of Funny crew? So I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time. I was aware of all the praise it got last year, but never felt compelled to pick it up. When I saw it at my local GameStop for $20, I thought, why the hell not? And I'm loving it. It's got me thinking about all the other games I may have passed up. My question is, with so many games out in the market and it being so easy to judge a game by its cover, what is the best way, in your opinion, to find games that may appeal to you even when you don't initially think you'll like it? Thanks for all the great content and keep up the hard work."
I mean, honestly, as basic as this sounds, I always feel like searching for top 10 lists for consoles on Google and IGN does a very good job of updating their top list per console, is probably the best entryway into understanding the breadth of games, because there's an entire editorial staff that is looking at a console's library and trying to boil it down into 25 games, usually top 10, top 25, whatever it is, that kind of represent a bunch of different genres and a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different tastes. And I feel like reading through those and looking at the ones that even you might not be aware of or know, and being like, maybe I should give that a shot. I think that is the best way, because if you are looking at this list and you're like, oh, those 5 games I do love, I don't know if I'm going to like these, but they're in the same conversation. They're there for a reason.
I think that's a great way. I think if you have the time, it's also good to cross-reference lists against each other. For example, if you check out Metacritic user reviews, look at also Steam reviews or maybe even Amazon reviews, because you have to understand that a lot of the reviews are going to be kind of garbagey, but that there is some good reviews in there. So if you are able to check multiple sites, like maybe you love IGN's reviews but don't like Game Informer's, or vice versa, or maybe you like GameSpot's reviews better. I think it's important to maybe find a reviewer or find a publication that kind of aligns with how you view media, since clearly my opinion of games doesn't reflect a lot of people's opinions out there. Some people love what I have to say about games, other people absolutely hate it, right? And so I think it's good to find somebody that you can align with that kind of likes the same games you do. That'll help you as well. And, I think it's also good to just ask your friends. Say, hey, what have you guys played that you've liked? Or look at, what has made the Game of the Year list, each year for the past couple of years. Because if it made it into the top 5 or top 10 games of the year, then clearly a lot of people thought it was good.
Yep.
So those are all good ways. When it comes to games you don't initially think you'll like, that's a little bit tougher. For example, earlier this year, you played Celeste. A lot of people played Celeste. A lot of people love Celeste. I looked at Celeste and was like, I have no desire to play this game. It's 2D, side-scrolling, in this more sprite-like art style that I don't think I'm going to like. Fast forward 8 months, I finally downloaded it because I made a commitment back then that I would play it before the end of the year for Game of the Year considerations because I got so many perfect scores. I was like, I can't ignore this if I'm doing my due diligence. And I'm happy to nominate it for a Game of the Year now. It's a wonderful, fantastic game.
Have you finished it?
I did. I finished it.
It's so satisfying.
It's just, we could make a whole segment to me talking about how good Celeste is.
I just love it. It is so much a perfect experience for me of what a 2D platformer can be.
Right.
When I never realized that potential was out there.
Yeah.
Like making the gameplay fuel a story and a character that feels like every single action you take is building towards something. It's just, I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, I was not prepared for how perfectly that game was put together. And it's so rare that I get to say that about a game. And I'm not mad at myself for taking as long as I did to play it. I'm just glad that I did. And I think what the thing was that really encouraged me is when I booted it up, I was fully prepared to put all of the assist mode options on. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play this to see what everyone's talking about. But then right at the beginning, there's a screen that kind of stops before you play that says, you can do this. That's all it says on the screen. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it on normal. I'm just going to go for it. And I made it all the way to flag number 10 at the very end of the mountain. Which is like, if you guys have played.
Real far.
Yeah, no, I got all the way up until the very end. And I played it in handheld mode on the Switch the whole time, which is probably a mistake.
I did most
for
of the time
a pixel perfect platformer. I should have probably used Pro Controller. But I got to the end and I was like, okay, I'm getting really frustrated and I don't want to not see the end of the story.
Yeah.
So then I turned the assist modes on at the very end and finished the game.
That's impressive because I would argue that the second to last level is the hardest.
It's
the climbing the mountain has a lot of challenges for sure, but like, good Lord, the second to last one, when you like, I don't want to spoil anything. That was very difficult.
Yeah.
But damn, what a game that is.
It's so good. I can't recommend that game enough. And it was a game that is not the style of game that I normally play or enjoy, but I took a chance on it and then I did it. So, and I know that that's hard to sometimes take a chance on games, but hopefully you can get a personal recommendation from somebody, Josh, that will encourage you.
I think video games are such a beautiful thing because you randomly just come across something that you're like, I have no interest in this. And you try and you're like, wow, I love this thing that I've written off for so many years. It's a while ago now, but Fire Emblem, I was introduced to the characters from Smash Brothers, like most people were, if not everyone in America. And when they started releasing the Fire Emblem games on Game Boy Advance, I was like, I'm not into the strategy stuff. Like, that's just not for me. Then they released it on GameCube, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I've been sleeping on what is probably one of my favorite genres in video games. And this is amazing. And the Fire Emblem games are now some of my favorite games of all time. Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS is just such an amazing game, an amazing experience. I'm just like, I would have totally written it off just because of my some anime strategy bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, it's really, really high quality. It's amazing. I'm so happy Fire Emblem has found the success that it has, being like one of Nintendo's core franchises now. Like, it's not just like, oh, one of the D team. It's like, no, it's probably a B title for them at this point.
I would definitely agree with you there.
Very cool.
So hopefully that helps you, Josh. And Mike, you got some good recommendations. And as always, I'm sure if you post either in the Kind of Funny subreddit or in the Kind of Funny Facebook group or in the Discord, wherever our community is, the best friends will give you more than enough recommendations for games for your brand new PS4. Welcome to the PlayStation family. All right, let's see here. Drummer Duck09 says, hey, Andrea and Tim, I've been having a discussion with my friends I was hoping the two of you might be able to jump into, especially since this started from a What's Good Games comment about Fallout 76 and open world fatigue. Is open world fatigue a valid criticism when discussing your impressions about a game? Originally, I was on the side of yes, but if outlets like Kinda Funny and What's Good Games are putting themselves through multiple open world games at the same time, or one after another, like we've had this fall with Spider-Man, Tomb Raider, AC, Red Dead, and now Fallout, is fatigue an issue with the game being reviewed or how the review process is being carried out? There are obviously other issues that factor into that fatigue feeling, lack of content, bugs, overall level of interest, etc. But shouldn't those be the reasons for not enjoying a game and not open world fatigue when not every player gets to or can play these games back to back? Appreciate your thoughts and have a great show as always. So I want to clarify before you start, Tim, that on a recent episode of What's Good, we were talking about how we didn't have the motivation to spend as much time in the Fallout 76 beta because we've been playing so many open world games back to back that the idea of starting yet another open world game when we haven't finished the previous ones kind of has led us to this place of open world fatigue. And for the record, What's Good Games does not review games. We do review discussions, much like you guys do here at Kinda Funny, and we don't score games. So our review process is very unorthodox compared to, say, a GameSpot or an IGN or any other established outlet that has a stable of people who review games along with a reviews director who will, or a reviews editor who will, of course, oversee all of that review content.
Yeah. Absolutely all that stuff where it's just like, I feel like using open world fatigue in that phrase is more to make a point about where we are at and why you should take us seriously or not seriously based on what you're looking for from our opinions on the games. But more than that, I feel like open world fatigue isn't as literal as it sounds. I feel like it's when comparing different open world games, and the fatigue isn't so much that like, oh, there's too many open world games. It's, hey, this game's really good, but I just had an amazing time in this other one, so it's really easy for me to compare what I like and don't like between the two. And I feel like you start to see the cracks a bit more when there are experiences that are so similar. And I feel like, you know, Greg playing Assassin's Creed and then playing Red Dead and the experiences that he had so close together, there was things about Odyssey that he liked that he wasn't getting in Red Dead. And had he played Red Dead at a totally different time, maybe it would be a totally different experience for him. But talking about that fatigue and giving the context of why he doesn't like Red Dead and saying that he is just coming off of Odyssey and there's a lot that he likes there that he's not seeing here, I think that is the conversation. It's kind of the context. It's giving everybody context of where we're coming from with our opinions and why we're saying the things that we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough when we have so many amazing games because I look at all of the games in this list and they're all good games. None of these are bad games. And I think that's what makes it even tougher because I think about, like, I haven't rolled credits on Spider-Man or AC or Red Dead, and like the idea of being able to...
You gotta do Spider-Man.
I know, I'm working on it. Because we have to do a spoiler cast on What's Good anyway. But I jumped when I got back from my out of country trip, I jumped right back into Assassin's Creed before going back to Spider-Man. And so now it's like, how do I balance or juggle all of these games? Because I still want to spend time in Red Dead. You know, like I want to see the end of that game. I want to just hang out and explore and uncover the map, right? It's just tough because we are obligated as content creators to keep content fresh for our audience so that you guys don't get bored. Because if I was only talking about Spider-Man week after week and about my like quest for the platinum, or if I was only talking about Red Dead or only talking about AC, all of the other people who were like, nah, I'm good on that game, would probably tune out. And so it's tough for us to juggle. And that's where, you know, that whole conversation about open world fatigue came from. Now, that being said, I hope that people out there who listen to us or who are playing these games can understand that why we have an obligation to do that. But and on some levels, I'm kind of jealous that you guys don't. Like the idea that I could just go around and do all of the side quests in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like, I mean, kind of exciting.
What's funny to me is, and like Kinda Funny's always kind of had this attitude, and I know a lot of people disagree with it, but hey, this is what we're doing. I play what I want to play. I stop when I want to stop. Like it's, I don't ever force myself to play anything I don't like. It's like, if I don't like it, I'm like, I don't like it. Here's why I don't like it. And here's why I stopped playing. Here's how much I played. Like, it's all about the facts. Gaming is just one part of what we do here and what I do. So it's like, I don't ever feel the need to push myself through something I don't like. Whereas when I do like something, I'm going to play the hell out of it. I'm going to talk about it a lot. I'm going to be really into it, and I'm going to be an expert in it. Like,
but what do you do, Tim, when you want to play multiple things at the same time?
Yeah, Tim.
I mean, you know, luckily Nintendo doesn't usually release multiple games at the same time, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm in a bad place right now where I go home and I really am having a struggle as to what to play. Because part of me also wants to like jump back into Destiny because I feel like I've been away from that for a couple of weeks. Hey, Kevin, you just be quiet back there. No need to hate. No one's asking you to play. I'm never asking you to play Destiny with me.
I know. I just like talking shit about it.
Oh my gosh. But like, I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey last night. But then I was like, oh, I was feeling the pull to go back into Red Dead after seeing somebody tweeted to me about this beautiful white Arabian horse and where to go find it. I'm like, ooh, I want to go find this Arabian horse that everyone's talking about.
It's like Arabian Day.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I still haven't finished Spider-Man and we have to do the spoiler cast. So what's a girl to do, Tim?
That's my thing though. It's just like I love story-based games. So it's like, give me Uncharted, give me Detroit, give me Spider-Man, give me like.
Did you play Tomb Raider?
No. I don't really like Tomb Raider that much.
Okay, listen. If you like Uncharted and you want a story-based game that's more linear, I really enjoyed my time with Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I've given all three a shot, and I just don't. They don't vibe with me. Something about it. It's like it's not Uncharted.
Well, I mean, obviously, it doesn't have Sully or Nathan Drake.
And to me, that's a big problem. I don't like Lara's character in the reboot games. Not that I liked her in the other games, but
what do you got against Lara Croft?
I like the wisecrack. I like the writing of Uncharted. I like the pulpy like action side.
More
to it.
levity.
Yeah, and I feel like
so you would like Cassandra then in Assassin's Creed.
I'm sure, but that game is a little too open for me. It's like there's all these things where I'm just like I know what I like and I know what I don't like.
Picky.
And it's like when you look at Red Dead, I looked at the game like that game is not for me. I don't even need to give it a shot because if I do, then everyone's gonna have an opinion on my opinion. And it's just like
welcome to being on the internet.
Yeah. Or just like what you like and enjoy it.
That's
I'm
true.
taking my time with the Spider-Man Platinum. I'm having a great old time. You know what I mean? The DLC came out, played that, loved that. I got Pokemon coming out too. I'm gonna play that. Then Smash Bros. I'm gonna play that. Oh, it's so fun. Amplitude. I go back to that every once in a while.
See, after you proposed a challenge on the Extra Life stream, now that's one more thing to add to the list of things I need to practice.
It is. You got to do it.
All right. So I think we have one more. You want to do this last one or you want to go into...
Let's squat up, baby.
Yeah? All right.
Let's get it going.
This is where we ask you to write in to ask the Kind of Funny best friends to help you in a video game. And today, Andy writes in and says... No, I'm not the loser Andy Cortez that you're thinking of. Joking.
Oh, shit.
Because anybody with that name is awesome. I'm glad you said you're joking because otherwise I'd have to fight you because Andy's great. So Andy is playing on Xbox and his gamer tag is WavyChileno. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong.
WavyChileno.
Is that what the name is for somebody who's from Chile?
Yep.
A Chileno?
Yep.
And he's wavy.
Wavy. He is wavy. All right, angry Greg voice. Because all my friends are stuck playing that damn amazing game people call Red Dead. That was it. That was just the angry Greg voice. And everyone forgot about Black Ops for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I need the help of the best friends, so Kind of Funny to join me, so I'm not so damn lonely. I'm a decent player and won 6 games solo so far, but damn does it get lonely. Do you think he's lonely? Andy, don't be lonely. Thanks for making my workday a lot better. Keep fucking that chicken. With no lube? Gross.
Oh, God. Did he say that?
That's rough. That's rough, Andy.
I don't like that at all.
Literally.
I like that, though.
Go help out, Andy.
WavyChileno wants to play some Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Just play with Andy. Now it's time for what, Andrea?
You're wrong, Tim.
That's
this is
correct.
where people at twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames keep us honest by writing in to tell us what we screwed up as we screwed it up. What did we screw up today, Tim?
Kebab says in a Nintendo financial briefing, the company confirmed Mario Kart Tour is going to debut sometime during March 2019. Zaire says Zelda producer Anuma said there'll be no more DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Well, that's a bummer.
New dates from Lord of Pwn. Path of Exiles coming to PS4 in December.
I thought we got that in new dates last week when it was announced. Maybe we forgot it?
I don't know. It says it was overlooked yesterday.
Oh. Wow, my bad. I'm actually really excited for that. I've been wanting to play Path of Exile for a while.
Let's see. Zaire says about Zelda multiplayer from IGN back in E3 2016. Aonuma stated, I would like to take what I learned from Breath of the Wild and see if we can somehow fuse those learning points into another multiplayer Zelda. Cool. That would be awesome.
Well, I hope you all are enjoying your Tuesday.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I guess that's what happens when you only have one item in the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen indeed. Don't forget, Greg is streaming today at 2 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/Starbreeze. That is the studio making Overkill's The Walking Dead. If you guys want to see some, no doubt, fun times and shenanigans, quote, physical challenges, whatever that means. And one more time, kindoffunny.com/extra life if you guys want to continue to be involved in our team effort there. Tomorrow, did you figure out who's hosting tomorrow?
It's not me. It's Greg and somebody. Greg
and somebody is hosting tomorrow. And on Thursday, it's Greg and Jared. And on Friday, it's another Greg and question mark.
It's a Greg week. It's a Greg week.
So we'll keep you updated on who to write in to your questions. Until then, have a great afternoon, everybody. Don't forget to vote. It's been our pleasure to serve.
It's true.